Oh yeah, and I also wanted to point out, sometimes we are a bunch of beautiful misses, aren't we? See ya. Thanks, Amaris. And being authentic is what I always aim for myself, because it's important. Even if I'm stressed, I might like shrink down and just not say as much if I'm in a place of situation, but I always have felt like I don't really wear a mask per se, which is nice. But interesting thing about these compliments, I made a video recently about, I had gotten a compliment about my poem being inspiring, and I was like, part of me was just like, ugh. And I did some internal work and some mirror work with myself, asking myself, well, why are you feeling this way, and what you're doing, and kind of reparenting that part of myself, telling it it's okay to get a genuine compliment. So there's still a little bit there, still working on it. Like when Lisarella, I'm assuming that's how you pronounce it, when she made her comment saying you're amazing, there's a part of me that's just like, it's a bit too much. But I tell myself, no, we've had this conversation, and besides, it's not for me to deny someone else to choose the compliment that they want to give. It's their compliment. So besides just being upset, it's like, well, no, it's just not fair if I try to reject someone else's compliment the way they want to express it. But interestingly about your compliment, where you said, thank me for being warm and authentic. These are compliments I have no problems accepting. I enjoy being who I am. And I try to be warm, and I have no problems accepting it. But I couldn't help but notice that even with these, my mind wanted to soften them. I thought about typing a response earlier, and I'm noticing this. I'm like, I'm going to make a video instead. My mind wanted to say, yeah, thanks, but I'm not always, I have my downtimes too. I have my moments where I'm not as warm, or I'm just keeping myself locked up, or whatnot. And I typed it, but I'm like, no. And I was going back and forth, and I'm noticing it wants to soften a compliment that even I have no problems accepting. And honestly, I don't think it's it could be a protective factor, where it's like, oh, you want to protect yourself subconsciously from, well, if you ever slip up, you can tell people, oh, well, I said. I honestly don't think that's what this is. I think part of me just wants to be honest and say, well, yeah, but I recognize that I have my moments. So part of me feels like, well, if I don't acknowledge that in conjunction with the compliment, that I'm not being fully honest. But we're all human. We're all human. And I don't expect other people to, every time they get a compliment, to say, oh, well, yeah, but I'm not perfect about it. So why I shouldn't necessarily be doing that with myself. And it's not acknowledging my own strengths, and it's not acknowledging where I do succeed. It's not giving myself credit. It's trying to take the focus from the positive and point out the difficulties. And that's something that I need to learn to rework within myself, is take those positives and acknowledge them for myself, and don't always try to soften by saying, oh yeah, but there's these other times too. So it's interesting though, not just the compliments that I feel are, oh, it's too much, just the ones that are legitimately there, even those I try to soften. So that's work that I have to keep doing with myself, and keep doing my own inner work and talking to myself and reparenting that. So thank you for the compliment, and I appreciate it. So take care.